Into another reaction video. Today we got Pine Ridge Reservation, the poorest country in America. Tommy G reaction video. Let's give our thoughts and opinion on it and see what it's going.
This window got shot up right here with a shotgun.
This is how easy you get alcohol in this watch. Hey, can I get two water bottles?
Yeah. In the nighttime, it's when it's scary here.
So when the sun goes down, we should get out of here?
Yeah. Everyone comes out.
It isn't unusual at all to hear gunshots in some areas of the Pine Ridge Reservation.
We're seeing an all-time high of violence and drug trafficking like we've never seen before.
Man, shout out to all my natives, man. Shout out to all my natives. Me as an Afro Native American too, man. Shout out to all my natives, man. Where'd she pull that out of her booty hole? What are you doing with that, shorty?
Have you had to use that before?
Yup.
On a person?
Yup.
I probably can't ask any more questions than that, huh?
No.
So tell me about the process of flipping this into pints. How does that work?
One water bottle will equal up to this much.
So we're okay.
What would you say, 20 for at least one?
No, thank you. Do you hear me? On this channel, we travel far and wide to the roughest places in the United States. Of all the places we've gone, Pine Ridge Reservation may very
Bro looked at him like, for real, bro? He looked at him like, white man, you not gonna do it? You not gonna pay me, white man?
very well be the roughest place we've ever been. The stats here paint a remarkably bleak picture. Here, there's a
Poverty in Pine Ridge ranks the worst in the nation, with 52.2% of its population in poverty. Oglala, Lakota County of Pine Ridge Reservation is the most impoverished county in the nation, according to a 2014 U.S. Census Bureau. What is this? I don't even know what state is this?
90% unemployment rate, there's an 80% rate of alcoholism, a 70% high school dropout rate, and nearly half the population has diabetes. There are no...
Damn. Oh my God. But this is the life like a lot of people that live on reservations have to live because of the country, bro. Like, they pushed them there. They pushed all the Native Americans there. The ones that didn't want to the ones that they couldn't bring to those schools and churches, they pushed them all there, give them the worst and the worst land with no resources, nothing, and they just pushed them there. And there's a lot of Native Americans that worked their way out and pushed and kept going and grinded so they can move their families out. And there's a lot of them that get stuck in that same position and get stuck in that same cycle. You know, we got shows now like the Reservation Dogs that show and kind of highlight, you know what I mean, what it's like living in the reservation, where you dream of going to these places and you're able to get there one day and then eventually you fall right back into the same place that you came from. And it's tragic. It's tragic.
No banks, no motels, no movie theaters, and there's only one moderately sized grocery store to support a population of nearly 20,000 people that stretch across 3,500 square miles. On this reservation, a third of the homes have no electricity or a basic water and sewage system. The utter lack of industry and commercial activity leave the residents almost no options for employment. With an average annual per capita income of $3,000, this is the poorest place in America. And despite this, you find people here that are striving to make a difference. There's a skate park that promotes sober living and gives the kids a safe place to go. There's a principal that wants to show her students love and support. There's people battling to preserve the culture and teach the kid their native tongue and traditions. It's a place with great challenges, but it also has a lot of resilience and character. Today, we cover the yin and yang of Pine Ridge, we examine history to see how these conditions came to be, and we talk to community leaders to see what the way forward is. Let's get started. Folks, we are on the outskirts of the Pine Ridge Reservation, one of the most notorious reservations in the country. It feels like we're on another planet. We just passed through the beautiful remote Badlands, and now we're in this rural hill country. This was ground zero for some of the Native American struggle against the US government. This is a place that still has a lot of roots into their history. They still speak Lakota. They still have sun dances. They still have a lot of the ceremonies that have guided their culture for years. But as you can see, 2 ambulances passing by. This is also a place that struggles with a lot. Alcohol addiction, meth addiction, high rates of diabetes and obesity. This is arguably the most impoverished place.
Oglala, Lakota County, which is entirely a reservation, is among the poorest counties. Okay. Yeah, wow. And this is like yearly salary. This is not even like monthly. This is yearly. Like this is what they mean yearly. Income around yearly 8,000, rounded up $9,000 yearly.
In the country, incarceration, somewhere between 7 out of 10 men get incarcerated around here. There's a lot of cyclical things at work. The relationship between these folks and the US government is a treacherous one, full of betrayal, full of just dirty tricks. It's an ugly part of American history. A recommended reading.
It's a super ugly part of American history. Like the Native Americans, the way they did black, not even just black people, African Americans, the way they did Native Americans, the way they did the Japanese Americans, like the way they did almost every, even Mexican Americans back with the Zoot Suit riots and everything. It all stems down to the way the government treated us as people of color, and it's just terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. Like literally, it's just terrible. And it's 2020, 2024 now, and we're just now calling these people indigenous. You know what I mean? Because this was their land. They're now really respecting the fact that Native Americans were here first in 2020, 2024. They're just now really respecting that these are the people of the Americas.
For today's episode is Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. So without further ado, folks, this is going to be a wild ride. This, folks, is the Pine Ridge Reservation.
I'm Oglala Lakota. I'm the founder of the Mothers Against Meth Alliance.
Is meth still big out here, or has fentanyl replaced it?
We do have fentanyl. We had a few deaths from fentanyl. I do harm reduction here, which is illegal as for me to have clean needles. They said they'll charge me with dangerous drug paraphernalia.
The local PD?
Yeah. A few years back, we had a young girl who was gunned down on Main Street up here, and that was like probably my 3rd year fighting meth. Everything I do, I pray about, and what came to me was need to start patrolling the streets. I've been doing this for 10 years now.
How bad is meth in the area?
Meth is horrible here.
Like what % of people would you say are on meth?
90. I'm building a detox, a grassroots. Our build date is June 1st.
Beautiful.
And it's going to be a healing center. We're going to build a food forest. We're going to have a safe house for young people escaping drug addiction.
This is in the middle of nowhere. How do you think meth makes it into the community?
We have Denver, Rapid City's a big pickup place. We have cartels who are infiltrated in here. On our
Mexican
list.
cartel?
Yeah.
I've heard rumors or whispers that Mexican cartels also involved in trafficking of Native women.
Of course they are. The Interstate I-90 and I-29, those are major vessels for sex trafficking. Because I fight meth, sex trafficking is a big part of my program.
They go hand in hand. If we wanted to find meth, how hard is it to find around here?
It's just, oh my God, it sucks. It sucks. It just sucks because there's no other way for these people to feel like they can create income. So you get a lot of these young girls, you know what I mean, riding around with these older guys. They're just trying to fit into the wrong crew. And then you got all these young dudes doing the same thing, just riding around with these older guys and getting into the wrong crew. And they all just fall in line and circle because this is what they was taught and they was taught and this is what they seen and they seen. So you get girls and young guys just running around just in harm's way, and it sucks. It just sucks. And then you got these little raw areas where they're not being governed correctly. Like the cops probably don't even come here unless there actually is something wrong. Like, you know what I mean? There'll probably be a shooting and the cops will probably come after 20 minutes after the shooting, 30 minutes after the shooting. Like the ambulance probably came and got the person already up at the ground, and they're coming in following 30 minutes, maybe even an hour later, because they just know, oh, it's probably something crazy. It's just that and the third. They just don't want to go there. Excuse me, but it's just terrible.
One of the street people will probably be walking and you just ask them and they'll find it for you.
How much do I need to buy a hit of meth?
$10.
On a daily basis, what do you see while you're on patrol? Like, do you have to revive people? Do you have to call ambulances for
Sometimes
people?
I do. Last night, one of our unhoused relatives started having a seizure, so I had to get out and call the ambulance and sit with him till the ambulance came. Sometimes I find a gang fight. Sometimes I find people getting beat up. Sometimes I find sex traffickers and I chase them out of town.
And they're mostly Mexican guys?
No, this one comes from Nebraska.
Is he a native man?
No, he's a black man.
So if I see a black guy around here, does he have native blood in him? Or?
If he's a local, he's half indigenous. For the kids, a lot of kids come down here after school and play. I just gotta make sure. Then if I see meth dealers, I'll beat them up.
As you should. As you should, because as you can tell, she has kids herself. And the last thing you want to do is have your kids fall down the pattern that they see in front of them. So as a mother should, you know what I mean? Like she said, mother's against meth. She's taking action against it. She's taking action against the neighborhood that she grew up in, and she wants to see a change. And the only way you'll see a change is if you put boots to action, because like everybody says, you know what I mean? If you want something done the best way, you gotta do it yourself.
What can you fellas tell us about the area?
It was rough growing up.
It looks like it could be fun, but it also looks like it has some sketchy spots too.
There's a bunch of sketchy people, a bunch of like missing women going on, some kids.
Does everyone know about the missing women?
Yeah,
That's no secret around here.
No.
The Rapid City Police Department is asking for your help finding 26-year-old Michelle Elbow Shield. Pine Ridge woman has been missing since mid-December.
Remains of Shayna L., young man afraid of his horses, were found last night on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation.
I just went to a conference this morning in Rapid City about missing women. They said, oh, it's MMIW. I didn't know what that was, but that's a commonly known thing around here. Where are these women going? Are they getting killed? Are they getting trafficked?
Getting trafficked, killed, everything.
I just heard from Mother Jewels. I don't know if you've talked to her before. That's your grandma? Yeah. Apparently cartel has some roots in here.
Yep, there was rumors of the cartel being here.
We were just talking about some of the trafficking that's going on. We were at a conference this morning about missing women. Everyone knows about that? Everyone's heard about that? That's sketchy as
common.
Who is taking them out? Is it their boyfriends? Is it their husbands? Is it random people?
Could be random people, could be the boyfriend.
Is domestic violence high around here?
It's very high.
Is it just men hitting the women, or do the women hit the men too?
Both.
That's a tough way to have a relationship.
It really is. I can't lie. I don't know around here. I try not to be that way.
Oh man. It's
We as men are supposed to be the protectors, and if we're the ones terrorizing our own family, that's not the best path. What was it like growing up here, fellas?
It wasn't bad. It was
kind of rough as well because the environment is kind of bad because the alcohol and the drugs, and there's nothing to do around here.
You just get it so easy.
I see you have someone on your shirt. Tell me about that.
My cousin, he died from cancer.
How old was he?
22.
Do you know how he got it?
You don't really go to the hospital here if you don't want it.
Is there a solid hospital in town?
There is no.
They give you some painkillers until you just
gone.
Did you guys ever go hiking in the Badlands?
Nah, I go hunting out there. We go out there here and there, shoot some guns off.
You know, Blakes and shit.
Are you kind of the cowboy of the crew?
Yeah. You ever heard of Indian Relay?
No, what's that? Oh, I see
really
you're a
popular.
champion
It's
too.
really
I see on your belt
popular.
buckle you're a champion.
Yeah, it's like relay, but on the back of the horse.
Horse racing with no saddle.
Yeah.
Tough son of a gun.
What was the pay for the championship last year? Quarter of a mil.
I see Indian relay. Is Indian still a word that someone can use, or is that don't? That's offensive, or don't
It's
say
not
it?
offensive. I don't take it offensive.
Okay. So if someone says an Indian reservation, that's not like beat the shit out of that guy?
No.
I think one thing you're gonna notice here is the Oakland Raider logo everywhere you go. So I wonder if there's some like Chicano, Cholo vibes going on. Like even the guy that pulled up with the bandana and the Loke sunglasses, I instantly felt kind of like Mexican gangster guy. Shane just got out of the joint. He's back in time for a visit, so I'm happy that he's joining us. Those are dogs roaming around.
Yeah, they're going packs here, they're deadly.
Are they friendly?
No, they will attack you and they will kick you to the ground. It's
Really?
crazy, yeah.
Have you ever been attacked by a dog?
I have.
More than once?
More than once.
Holy shit.
I've been in and out of prison all my life. I got into the federal system when I was 14.
That's young.
Went on to a boys ranch till I was 18, on to federal juvenile prison till I was 21.
What was the boys ranch like?
It got me a high school diploma, a boxing club. It pushed me in a good direction, but coming back to surroundings like this at a young age and being vulnerable, it was easy to get sucked right back in. Coming back to that, gang banging,
Am I allowed to ask if you were TBZ?
Yeah, I'm TBZ.
That was the most powerful gang in the area for a long time, right?
Was.
Is it still around as much as it used to be?
It's still around in the state prisons, federal prisons, here.
Is TBZ mostly older guys or are there young cats in it now?
It's generational.
Everywhere I go right now, I find that the 14-year-old kids, 15-year-old kids are doing the most crazy shit.
It's crazy, the guns, kids packing guns, regular murders. Back then there was some, but it wasn't like it is today. But again, it comes back to how they're raised, no role models, and look where we were.
Yeah, it's just the area, bro. It's area. When you bred it into the area and it's just passed down, you see people doing this, you see people doing that, older brothers doing this, older cousins doing that, like, just passed down. It's like, especially in the area where you have nothing to do. You know what I mean? Where now you're starting to see kids being able to go to skate, go into the park and live freely, but you know what I mean? Probably 10 years ago, you know what I mean? Maybe even less, 5 years ago, whatever, it wasn't like that. You know, you see a lot of people now even talk about back in 2017, 2018, you know what I mean? People weren't outside, and it's like, that was only 6 years ago or something, and it's like, yo, bro, like, you know, you could have had your whole life ahead of you, and it's just all turned down from here.
Where we live, where we have to grow up.
We are at one of the homeless shelters in Pine Ridge, South Dakota right now.
Is homelessness something that's been growing over time here? Or is it staying steady?
It's been here ever since I was growing up. I always seen homeless people.
And now what we see is an influx of more younger people turn into these ways. It's the opportunities we don't have here, the assistance.
I live here. I'm part of the homeless community. Out here in the reservation, they don't have a lot of jobs, so...
What are the job opportunities for someone out here?
The small local restaurants.
Has it been like this as long as you can remember, or is this recently that something has changed?
That's something that's been in the making. The tribe is holding us back.
How so?
We have industries that would like to come in and build in our area, but the tribe wants to always have their hands in their pockets.
So they want to tax them too heavy.
They want to say, hey, I want the tribe's name to be on it. Everything has to be the tribe, the tribe, the tribe. These industries don't want that.
What do you think the unemployment rate is in the area?
It's in the red zone. This is some of the beadwork that I'm doing today. It's something that I do in order to support myself.
We've also heard that there's a high concentration of meth in the area. If you were to point at 10 people, how many of them do you think are involved with meth?
Majority of the people. Or they have no support for transgender community.
What do you do in the winter if you're homeless, Ron?
Would bundle up. We would walk around this area and follow footprints. We would look for older people that drink and that use. Their bodies are so intoxicated that they don't realize that they're cold. They'll fall asleep.
And they can freeze to death.
This past winter, we lost quite a few people to freezing to death outside.
Sorry to hear that. Alcoholism is one of the strongest forces working against the people of Pine Ridge. The bottom...
And it's like, what else can they do? You know what I mean? Like, there's no place for them to really go. There's not enough, like, you know what I mean? Even in cities where they have homeless shelters for people to go to, they don't have enough beds for everybody, so that there's people sleeping outside the homeless shelter. So then once they leave in the morning, they could try to hop in someone's bed, at least get an hour before someone comes in and says, hey, you got to get up. Or, you know, or they start trying to walk around, they go into abandoned houses, so then at least they have some type of shelter to block the wind and whatever. And like, and then you got this where it's like there's no place for them to go. It's either they're on someone's property or at a business front, or they're just laying in the middle of the you know what I mean, laying in the middle of the dirt, or in wintertime in just the snow. So then they, you know what I mean, they're walking around with 15 hoodies on, or 3 hoodies and 2 and a jacket that they found, and you know what I mean, the skinniest pants, or just regular pair of jeans, and you know what I mean, one socks, you know what I mean, some boots, and they're just walking around town and sipping away and smoking a pack of cigarettes, and then eventually they sit down somewhere, don't even realize they fall asleep, and they just don't wake up. It's man, it's tragic, man. God bless the soul. God bless their souls, man.
Battle has wreaked so much havoc here that it's been referred to as a liquid genocide. Pine Ridge is actually a dry county, meaning that alcohol here is illegal. However, it's easy to find. You can find a bootlegger anywhere you look. Alcohol-fueled crimes fill the reservation jails, with DUIs, domestic violence, fights, murder, and bootlegging being commonplace. The relentless tide of alcohol sweeps away the years, leaving Pine Ridge residents with some of the shortest lifespans in the
life expectancy I don't know if I spelled that word right, but I don't care. On the Pine Ridge Reservation is the lowest anywhere in the Western Hemisphere except for Haiti. A recent study found the life expectancy for men is 48 years and for women it's 52 years on the reservation. Wow. So this reservation has the lowest life expectancy in the Western Hemisphere besides Haiti. Wow. That just shows you how it's not, it doesn't even show you how dangerous it is on, it just shows you how it just, I wouldn't even like, it's just how, you can't even say poor, but just like how ungoverned, how left alone, how destroyed it is because of just years and years, generations of generations just being trapped in a cycle, being, you know what I mean, just being used by governments and everybody. Like Pine Ridge is probably a place where all the presidents tell them, and you know what I mean, they hope that this president will change and this president change, and they start doing everything else around the country besides helping them out. Like there's people with no running water, no electricity, nothing, man, nothing, and and then they get compared to a country with Haiti where it was generationally for years and years and years being governed by France, by a whole country, and that was taking money for them, putting them in bankruptcy, taking money, like taking all their resources from them. And it's like, it just comparison, it shows you what the French did to Haiti and their government to what America is doing to their own people that live in their country, bro.
In the Western Hemisphere, second to only Haiti. So proportionally, Pine Ridge's alcohol issue makes San Francisco's fentanyl problem look like child's play. And the kids wanted to show us how easy it was to get bootlegged alcohol in the area. So they grabbed their GoPro, they went on a mission, and this is what happened next.
Alright, we gonna show you how easy it is to get. Alright, this is how easy you get alcohol in this. Watch, hold on. What do you got? We got 20. We got $20. We'll get some alcohol. What? Boys, let's roll out. No bad. Alright, let's go. Mission Impossible. Hey, can I get two water bottles? Yeah.
How you doing? How's your dad doing?
He's alright. Alrighty then. You guys have a good one. Yeah. Look at that. That's straight alcohol, nigga. Big John, that's how easy it is in this reservation to get some alcohol. He just walked up in that as you've seen. So much bootleg walk out.
We call light skinned.
Cameras is just in there though. All blinked and shit. One of them was sitting on the couch all blinked. Let's go!
What are people mixing alcohol with? What have you guys seen so far?
Antifreeze, hand sanitizer.
That you put in a car windshield wiper.
Yeah.
They mix that with alcohol.
Yep.
Does that actually get you?
What? Antifreeze, hand sanitizer? Oh my god.
Drunk, or is it just to stretch it?
It just f***s up your stomach, bro.
I would imagine someone would feel miserable after drinking that.
I know one story of this girl who bought one and she died off it.
Why antifreeze of all things you can mix it with?
Just for that extra buck.
They're just trying to stretch it.
Yeah.
Can you get drunk off a hand sanitizer?
Yeah.
Over the years, what have you seen as far as what people mix into the alcohol?
Back then it was half pints of Lord Calvert. This new vodka craze is killing our people. It's the lowest grade alcohol you could get. Mix that with the stuff that they're putting in to sell it.
Is that creating a wicked hangover for people?
Hangover. I talked to a lady at IHS. People coming in with poisoning from all the stuff they're putting into these drinks just to stretch it.
There used to be one of the biggest liquor stores in the country around here in Nebraska, right?
Clave, Nebraska, 2 miles from here. Every building was a bar. They made millions on this reservation.
Because this is a dry area, right?
Right.
The loophole was a place 2 miles away across state lines, sold all the liquor.
And it was good and it was bad. Because now you got people traveling on these highways to go get their liquor, which makes the highways more dangerous.
Because people are driving drunk. They're not waiting home to drink it. They're drinking on their way home.
At some point there was a lawsuit from our tribe, the Oglala tribe, who shut it down. Now it's like a ghost town up there.
Have you ever been in a shootout?
Yes. In my days it was territorial. Spent a lot of time in Northside, Rapid City. I'm lucky to be sitting here today talking with you guys and in one piece.
Has anyone ever been shot at here?
Been grazed on the leg right here.
What was that like?
It was just a little dry bar, but I mean, that's just normal around here. It's just another day.
They're already back from their mission.
Yep.
This kid wanted to show us how easy it is to access alcohol here. Can I sniff that shit? Here. So,
is that a ski?
Make sure it's real.
Check it. She probably knows.
Alcohol.
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
smells like shitty vodka. How much did this cost?
$10. 20 for both.
Someone that's really into alcohol, how long does that last them?
Like about a couple hours.
Does everyone
Not even a couple hours, probably. They probably be dogging that joint and be back in the next 2.
have someone in their family that's been hit by alcohol, like addicted to alcohol?
Everyone. Straight out the jug.
This is for educational purposes only.
No, don't do it, Tommy. Don't do it, Tommy.
Yeah, I'm good on that. So that's bootleg alcohol. How enforced is bootleg alcohol around here? Will a cop bust it?
Yeah.
Is it risky to sell bootleg alcohol?
Yeah.
That shit is making my whole mouth buzz. If I'm trying to recover from being addicted to alcohol, is there any resources around here?
There's a meeting spot over there.
How many people around here you think are sober from everything? Just completely living sober?
25, 50% maybe.
I'd say less than like 15%.
The res is like literally only 20, maybe not even 15% of the res has jobs around here. The rest of the 80% of people don't have jobs around here. Selling drugs and alcohol be the main source of money flow around here.
So do you think a lot of the reason why meth and alcohol is so heavy here is just economics? If there was better things to be doing, people wouldn't be doing it?
If there was more jobs, and then if we had addiction centers and everything, it would be more helpful, but we don't have those like right offhand where someone can just go.
That's probably the mom right there. Of all these kids, that's the mom probably. And she riding around with them and just, man.
Check themselves in.
Do you have any stories of growing up on the res that can give people a picture of what life is like here?
The way I grew up was more like traditional and stuff like that, where you go and go to like the powwows and sun dances and stuff like that. Like, there's a good amount of people that are sober, are getting sober. You know, so
I notice a lot of people just walking down the street and kind of just trekking. Is that common around here?
Yeah, that's very common.
That's very common.
Someone walking right there.
Where do you think he's trying to walk to?
Probably trying to go to the store, buy a blunt wrap.
How strong is the police force around here?
It's strong, but they take a while to respond.
If I break my leg or my grandma gets shot, how long are they going to take to show up?
About 30 minutes.
Ain't there only like 5 cops around here?
Is TBZ big in the younger generation?
It is big down here. It was.
What's the average age around here? Like 18 to 20?
Yeah.
What do you guys want to do with yourselves?
I just want to make money.
It is a hard place to make a bag.
Depends on what you're doing.
How much you got to have in a bank account to be like, I'm rich?
1,000 at least.
Look at this guy with the, what, you go to Johnny Dane's or something? If you don't mind me asking you, how much did that run you?
Stole it.
You stole it?
I ain't gonna lie.
This is the Wi-Fi building?
Yeah, you go in there, get on computers.
The Midwest is a little bit like it too, but it's almost like this place is like 20 years back in time.
40 years back in time. This is whack.
I've been to some reservations where people get monthly draw from the tribal government. Does that happen around here?
Some people do, not all of us though.
There's first of the month check, $200.
Who qualifies for that?
Pretty much everybody. There's tribal funds that's allocated from the government.
Is housing given to you? Do you have to pay for it? How does that work?
Each tribal member is allotted 2.5 acres. So the majority of people own a mobile home and set it down on their property and do the best they can to try to fix it. Actually, this is my grandmother's house. She died some years back. A lot of good memories here. This shows how the home could have been reused for somebody else, but resources here are limited. Actually, right now, our housing authority is went out of business, mismanagement of funds. Now they can't remodel these houses. They won't be able to do for X amount of years. Some houses, 5-6 families living in one house.
What can you buy a house for around here?
8, 10.
8 to 10 grand? Do I have to come up with that money or does the GA help me with that?
You gotta come up with that.
Well, that's my mom right there.
How is it raising boys around here?
It's hard.
You got any stories to illustrate what it's like being a mom around here?
These kids have nothing to do. So what else are they gonna do is find something to do to get in trouble.
For a kid leaving high school, like what are the most common jobs people do around here?
Grocery store.
Especially the younger generations, like that's not too glamorous. I would rather be a hustler or something like that.
Exactly.
We were just at a conference earlier today for missing and murdered Indigenous women. Is that something that's widely known in the area?
Very wide. I think they run away from their families because there's there's basically 20 people living in homes, you know, and there's like so much things that probably go on in that home.
So they run and then they get caught in situations that are tough.
Yeah.
Has there been a situation where you ever had to call the cops?
All the time. There used to be a meth trailer right back there. This trailer's abandoned back here. I have grandkids. I have her and I have him, and they just party and loud, so we gotta call the cops, but they never come.
You want to take us to the trailer that you guys have the meth heads that are trying to take over?
We go over there. I used to be over here a lot because this was my cousin's crib, like I said. I remember sitting on them couches whenever I was like 6 and 5.
How many of these do you think there are in the area?
This window got shot up right here with the shotgun.
What was the beef about?
Stupid shit, honestly. I mean, we never was really trying to beef, but everyone's all trying to be gangster and shit.
How long has this place been abandoned like this?
3 years, 4 years.
And who used to live here before?
Most times it was kids because the parents would leave them here, you know what I mean? Parents would go and get drunk. I remember that because that was my cousin that would take care of his little brothers and sisters, you know what I mean?
Someone died back here?
Yeah, I said they themselves, remember?
And this is her memorial. Rest in peace. That's sad, man. How old was she?
She was a little older. She was an auntie.
Do you guys have a dream job in mind?
I want to be an auto mechanic. I'm really good at turning bolts.
Same thing he does. An auto mechanic.
I was thinking mechanic. If I had a magic wand, I'd get rid of most of these meth heads, most of the meth dealers, because that's where everything goes wrong.
That nose creeps into the area?
No, that's bad out here. It's really bad. Everyone dies off that shit. This ain't safe.
No.
In the nighttime, this one is scary here.
Yeah?
The most dangerous.
So when the sun goes down, we should get out of here?
Yeah. Everyone comes out.
What's bigger here, meth or alcohol?
It's equal.
Are people doing meth and alcohol?
Yeah.
That's a scary combo, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just saw the Raiders.
You got the dog following them and everything too. Like, man, bro. If I was there, I'd probably took that dog home. I'm not gonna lie, that dog pretty cute.
Logo on that car. And also, like, I can tell by like the bandana and the glasses, I feel like there's a little bit of like almost Southern California culture mixed in here.
Nah, they're bro, very heavy.
Yeah? Did anyone kind of dress like a cholo around here in the summer? Like the high socks?
Nah.
You ever heard the higher the socks, the downer the food?
Yeah,
of course. Is this the main hub of the town?
This is the East Ridge, North Ridge.
Are you guys cool with them? If you guys aren't cool with this side of town, then let's go to the side of town you are cool with.
When I tell you these little youngins, they really be out here.
Swear to God, got big ass drakes, everything. How do guns get to the res?
I'm from Denver, for real.
They're just around. I don't know.
And what does a pistol go for around here?
About 3, 4. If it's stolen, 250 maybe. I mean, depends on the size.
I gotta wear one of these. I'm still doing time in federal prison under new drug laws that came into effect.
What was your last bid for?
Distribution of methamphetamine. Last bid was for cocaine distribution.
But what got you to selling meth?
Since I was young, starting all of these guys, the lifestyle that I idolized, everything that come with it. It's not worth it. Doing so much time with the family. I'm 47 years old today. I spent over half my life in prison.
Now we're rolling to an indoor skate park.
We're at ground control, Lakota skateboarding.
It's just crazy, and then it's like they get thrown back into the same area where they have to either survive again or just thug it out, bro. And it's hard to survive. It's hard. It's just hard to survive.
Welcome to ground control, bro.
This is a cool spot.
Me and the skaters built this place.
What's the mission of this spot?
Eliminate the off season for the skaters. When it snows here, we got a dope outdoor skate park. When it snows, we come here and we just skate here year round anyway. So,
Is there a sober living component as well?
Yeah.
Why is that important to you?
I quit drinking almost like 3 years ago. My dad's death was the result of drinking, and I just don't think it's a good thing. And I really encourage the youth not drink and live that healthy lifestyle, because on a skateboard you can do anything, man. Take you all over the world if you let it.
How hard was it to quit drinking, and especially with your peers probably still doing it? How hard was it to pull away and do that?
Well, it wasn't really hard. I just quit because just one day it was just too much for me, man, and just hanging over. I quit a month before I got in this building. That's what probably helped me, was building this place. In the future, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a dope ass kitchen in here, and we're gonna start eventually eating our traditional foods in here.
I love it. A lot of the reason that kids are into stuff is because they feel like they don't have many other options and things to do. But this is something.
Yep.
When is it open?
We're open from noon to 8, Monday through Friday. We're gonna eventually have this place fully staffed, just running like a clock, man.
This is really cool what you're doing. You're a leader. People are gathering here. Youth have a place to come. What advice do you have for the youth out there?
Just keep following your dreams. If you think you can't do it, know that you can, and write it down, and don't give up. This place is known that there's nothing to do for kids here. Now would always say, where there's nothing, you can do anything.
Keep making moves, okay? Kids, especially teenagers, tend to get in trouble if they don't have the right things guiding their path. So whether it's wrestling, skateboarding, chess club, anything that brings the kids in the right direction, I'm a fan of. And that's why I'm donating $1,000 to Kyle and his ground control skate park in Pine Ridge to keep leading the kids on the right path. If the mission of this skate park moves you, please consider donating as well. We've seen a wide range of weapons on Pine Ridge. This is probably the most crazy one so far.
Hey man, I'm gonna put the link in to this video in my description, so that y'all click this video. Y'all can go to Tommy G's and y'all can donate. And I mean, so because at the end of the day, man, we are the new generation, and we have to be able to step up as much as we talk about stepping up, because we can't let these old people dictate the future, because they're not gonna be here for long.
Right here. Right here.
Have you had to use that before?
Yup.
On a person?
Yup.
I probably can't ask any more questions than that, huh?
Nope.
Self-defense? Self-defense?
Chop them up, feed them to the Badlands. No,
do a lot of people go missing in the Badlands?
Yeah, people disappear there.
2 miles outside of Pine Ridge Reservation and just across the border of Nebraska is the town of White Clay, a place with 4 liquor stores and a population of 8. This town has one purpose and one purpose only: to sell alcohol to the Lakota people. At its peak in 2010, nearly 5 million cans of beer were sold through these 4 liquor stores, leading people to call this situation a liquid genocide. In April of 2017, due to high pressure from Native activists, Nebraska's Liquor Control Commission refused to renew the licenses for these 4 stores, effectively shutting them down. This has led White Clay to be the ghost town that you now see today.
This place used to be the liquor store. I used to come here when I was like 15, 16 years old, and used to be able to buy and stuff too.
You have a fake ID?
No, they never carded me.
They used to sell that. Sell to anyone, actually.
Are we in Nebraska right now?
Yeah, we are.
So that's the loophole. We go across state lines, people buy their alcohol and they drive back.
Yeah. Not even a mile.
Just making it a dry county work.
It made the highways more dangerous. Before you used to have to come here to get your liquor and go. Now you're going this way to get your liquor, out that way. It makes the roads more dangerous. More people driving drunk. The bottom line is here, poverty, no opportunities. That's what I believe it is. They're hurting. They're trying to kill the pain.
So alcohol's a way to numb the pain. Yeah. Is this a hard place to be a dreamer?
Yeah, it is.
Hard to make it out. There's only a few that make it out.
Faith dies at a young age, so for everyone.
A kid on the res wanted a ride home, so we drove him to his place. This is what we encountered. Okay, so where are you taking us though? Oh, it's good. What you doing?
I'm going to get my shot. Go get it? Yeah, I grabbed it earlier. I'm going to go get his blade.
I can't imagine growing up here. A lot of stuff we couldn't show you on camera, like the amount of guns amongst youth. Like I'm talking young kids, like middle school, young high school kids. The amount of drugs and alcohol in the area. Like how easy it is to find alcohol. To me, I just don't see many leaders for the youth. Like they say they don't have stuff to do, but like there's basketball courts, there's skate parks, there's indoor and outdoor skate parks. Yeah, like you do it at some point.
At this, I know how Tommy felt, bro. Cause if a youngin asks me to take me home or take him home, bro, and I do it, and then in the car, bro, like you talking about, oh yeah, I gotta get my strap, like yo, bro, like what is you doing, gang? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how I'm just calling him Bobby. I don't know how Tommy's feeling right now, but I know I would feel bad because you don't know what just happened. You don't know if you took that kid to his end. You don't know if you took that kid that he was going to go do something bad to someone else. And now you have to sit there and with that result, driving home, going home, and hope that that kid and that didn't have to use a gun or anything like that. And that takes a toll on anybody who has morals, and like it would just take a toll on your mind.
Be responsible for the decisions you make, but as a kid you do need guidance, and I see a lot of that missing. And I really see that in a lot of the tough places we go. So looking at places like this, it is a little bit demoralizing and depressing. I see a lot of potential here, but I also see a lot of hurdles to overcome. So we're getting out of here before sundown, and we met a 15 and a 13-year-old kid that were on their way to go get their guns. So I'm guessing the nighttime around here is something that just isn't worth seeing. Shortly after we left, one of these kids got stabbed 9 times by a rival gang member. He survived, but had to be hospitalized for a few days. It's a stark reminder of how rampant the violence is in the area. October of 2016, Vinnie Brewer III, a member of the Pine Ridge community, was shot 15 times and killed in front of the Siouxland Big Crow Center. His death is an example of many of the acts of violence that the people on the reservation have spoken about. We wanted to get a picture of who Vinnie was as a man, so we met up with his mother at the site of her son's memorial.
So this is where he was killed. Right here, there was a basketball tournament going on here.
and gang from Denver came and killed him. They shot him like 17 times and execution style, once in the back of the head. They kidnapped my daughter in the beginning and they killed my cousin. They were trying to run drugs through here and use my kids. Whenever they killed my son, like this whole town shut down. They had a curfew, I think. They didn't know what was going on, and they did think it was the cartel, but it wasn't.
So was there any justice brought to the situation?
Oh yeah. What they did was they came here looking for my son after they took off with my daughter, because he used to run with them, right? He ran with this gang, and then
He ran with the Colorado gang. Okay.
And they were trying to recruit him, and he was going up there. I'm so glad he didn't, but look at what they did to him. They killed my cousin Annie, and my daughter witnessed it, so they took off with her. That's what started the war between him and them. And then he wanted out, and they won't let him out. They won't let him out.
What happened to your daughter?
So I reported her kidnapped. That was on a Wednesday. They let her call me on Saturday, I believe it was. Right after that is when they found her in Colorado, Lakewood, Walmart. No shoes, she had bruises. And the guy who took off with her said that he loved her and that he was in love with her, but on the way up there, they had a bag over her head. Yeah, she's traumatized.
Did she survive and she's around
She's
today?
around, she's in prison right now. Our life's been pretty much screwed up since 2016.
Why are so many murders happening?
I believe a lot of our people now, like a lot of the...
God bless her soul, man. God bless her soul. God bless her soul. So it's just so innocent, like it's just so, like I don't know how she feels as a mother, because she tried her best, tried to keep her kids in sports, tried to keep them out of the area, making sure they're safe and anywhere they go. You know what I mean? Like you could tell that she was a mom that said, "Hey, you want to go to basketball court? Okay, I'll drop you off and I'll make sure I pick you up. Hey, you want to go, you know what I mean, to your friend's house? Okay, I'll drop you off and I'll pick you back up. I don't care what time it is, just call me." And you could tell she just had so much love for her kids and still does. And what only thing she would was the best for them and try to keep them out of trouble. And it's just sickening that the area that they live in dictates whether or not they stay out of trouble or not.
These kids are FAS.
The grip of alcohol here is so strong that 1 in 4 children is born with fetal alcohol syndrome. When a mom drinks during pregnancy, it can be disastrous for her children and leaves the child to contend with learning disabilities, memory issues, and poor impulse control. To no fault of the child, a drinking mom often sets up their kid to struggle in school, have difficulty getting along with others, and the child themselves is more likely to turn to alcohol as they grow up. And this further extends the cycle of poverty, despair, and violence. I didn't realize that the murder here is absolutely rampant. How many people have we seen wearing a t-shirt of their killed family member?
I think
that's like the
everybody.
most common t-shirt we've seen. It's either like a Nike t-shirt or it's someone's family member on a shirt. We're going to Lakota Tech High School next. We were invited by a teacher there to come by, and we're going to talk to a principal as well. But today's a very special day in town. It is the day of prom. Hello.
Hello.
I'm Tommy.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. It's prom night tonight.
Yes.
You excited?
Yeah, very excited. I gotta go get dressed.
Oh, okay. So we're in a learning institution. First, maybe we teach the people what are some Lakota words that they can learn for back home.
The first thing in the morning is Hihani Wash Day. It's just a good morning.
Hihani Wash Day.
Hihani Wash Day.
Okay.
I think if somebody asks you, we eat a lot, so like if you like the food, you're gonna say it's wash day.
Wash day.
It's good.
It's good?
Yeah.
Okay.
When we say goodbye to each other, we never say goodbye. In the spirit world, we believe that we see each other again. So
Okay.
it's Doksha Ake.
Doksha Ake.
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 Uh-huh.
And that means I'll see you again?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a translation for this, but big dogs gotta eat.
There might be. This is Otto Cooney.
Otto Cooney.
Nice to
He's
meet
our
you.
Lakota language teacher.
Is there a translation for the term big dogs gotta eat?
Big dogs gotta eat. Shunka tonka yatinkte hecha.
Big dogs gotta eat. What is it like being a principal in 2024?
It is challenging.
Yeah.
Of course he had to figure it out, man. Of course he did. Of course he did.
Principal in 2024.
It is challenging.
Yeah.
Students are coming, especially after COVID, with a lot of diverse needs. And not just students, teachers too. I feel like I'm helping support teachers learn how to teach again in person, to be engaging with students, giving students hands-on experiences, you know, because when they were learning at home,
Everything was through a screen.
Everything was through a screen.
It's hard to learn through a screen.
Yeah.
Is dropout something that you have to contend with?
Yes, we do have a high dropout rate. I just looked at some of our data with our ninth graders. They are the largest population of dropouts. And so I just sat in a meeting yesterday with some of our district leaders and some of the state consultants to try to figure out how we can wrap around services and prevent some of the dropouts
What do you do when a kid decides not to come to school?
So it's phone calls home to parents, it's meeting with those students and parents trying to figure out what the obstacles are and why they're not coming. We do report truancy, but the courts are so backlogged and they don't have the infrastructure to like have follow through with that.
I know because I do a lot of stuff across America. There's a lot of young kids that are really getting into rap culture, and what they're kind of idolizing doesn't usually lead to success. It usually leads to prison or death or shootouts. How do you contend with that?
I don't know, that's tough. Because me, like as a teacher, this is my 6th year teaching, and I was a kid that hated education. You know, it's just like the product of their environment is a lot tougher, so it's just hard to compete with that. You can give them all the motivational words and everything in the world, but you know, it's them doing their part too, the family doing their part too.
You know, we talked to one of the advocates for prison reform and incarceration, and he said that about 7 out of 10 men are frequently in jail or in and out of jail. And that means there's a lot of men not in the household. Do you think that's part of the recipe? If there was more responsible men in a household, that things would be a lot different?
Yeah, a lot more structure. Our parents are both in the Wounded Knee occupation of 73, and so their minds were, you know, tough love type thing. I just celebrated 35 years of sobriety last March.
You 35 years?
Yeah, I just turned 35. So I've never like done drugs.
That's amazing.
It was tough at first, the peer pressure. Drink, smoke. But I promised my grandma before she died that I would never do that.
You talked earlier about, you know, our dropout rates and stuff. One of the things that I try to tell my students is that no matter what you go down, you can always stop and make a different choice.
Yeah.
I was a high school dropout.
Yeah. What a great story for the principal.
Right. Yeah. I got my GED at 16. I got a job. You know, I was still able to go to college, got my 4-year degree, became a teacher, taught, still able to go get my master's, and now I'm the principal of a high school. So it's never too late to do something.
Never too late to do what you plan on doing. Never too late to make an impact. Never too late to change what you want to change, whether it's about yourself or the community that you are raised in or the people that you want to help. There's never too late. It's never too late. You know, it's never too late. You see people creating businesses at 40, becoming millionaires at 42. You see people, you know what I mean, creating businesses or becoming comedians at 60 years old and traveling the world. It's never too late to think that your dream is over. You have to give up. You can always continue and grow as a person. You can keep going, man.
Else different, and we all have a reason why our road goes this way, that way, or the other. But it takes having people. I'm here because I had people that believed in me, saw something in me that I didn't see in myself at the time.
Yeah. We left Lakota Tech High School and drove up to see the Wounded Knee Memorial. This site is hugely significant in Native American history, and I wanted to see it for myself. This is what we encountered.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hey, we're gonna pull up there. So we're okay.
20 for at least one?
No, thank you. Do you hear me?
Do you hear me?
Yeah. Watch out, we're gonna pull away, okay? I bet he's gonna follow us, which is fine, but it's gonna be hard to appreciate the history of the place when a meth head is trying to sell you something.
Local artists and some crafts. I'm trying to get some gas money, and I was wondering if you guys would be interested in any crafts.
Yeah.
If not, I take donations too.
We're gonna take some time to appreciate the history here, okay?
Yes, sir.
We're gonna give you the history of this place. This was the site of the massacre. The origin of Pine Ridge begins with treachery and brutality by the U.S. government. After years of massacres and being starved into submission, the Lakota people signed the Treaty of Fort Laramie in 18...
In spring of 1868, a conference was held in Fort Laramie, Fort Laramie in present-day Wyoming that resulted in a treaty with the Sioux. This treaty was to bring peace between the whites and the Sioux who agreed to settle within the Black Hills Reservation in the Dakota Territory. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Please, please forgive me.
1968 and moved onto the reservation. In 1890, the deadliest mass shooting in American history occurred at Wounded Knee, where over 300 Lakota were killed by the United States Army and buried in a mass grave. They were machine gunned down because they refused to be disarmed in an era in which guns were vital for hunting and defending their land. The Lakota were initially promised a 60 million acre reservation. However, once valuable resources were discovered on this land, the U.S. government went back on their treaty. They passed the General Allotment Act of 1887.
The General Allotment Act of 1887, under the law, some parcels could be sold to whites. Indian owners could also be foreclosed upon if they failed to pay taxes or debts. Over the decades of following the Dawes Act, large numbers of Native Americans lost their land.
In the 1906 Burke Act, and
oh, never mind. Hold on.
From Pine Ridge. Today, Pine Ridge stands at 2. Discovered on this land, the U.S. government went back on their treaty. They passed the General Allotment Act of 1887 and the 1906.
The Burke Act of 1906, the Secretary of the Interior may, in his discretion, and he is hereby authorized. My fault. Let me reread this. The Secretary of the Interior may, in his discretion, and he is hereby authorized, whenever he shall be satisfied that any Indian Aloti or Aloti is competent and capable of managing his or her affairs at any time, to cause to be issued to be a Loti, a Lote, I don't know, a patent in fee simple, and thereafter all the restrictions as to sale, encumbrance, and taxation and of said land shall be removed. I don't know how to pronounce this word. I ain't worried about it.
6 Burke Act.
Hey, I'll pick up a dictionary later.
And these acts took millions of acres away from Pine Ridge. Today, Pine Ridge stands at 2.1 million acres, just 1/130th of its original size. This chapter of Native history also saw systematic crushing of Native culture. The Indian Appropriation Act of 1851 led to Native children being taken from their homes and forced into boarding schools where their language and culture were banned. In these schools, they were beaten by nuns and priests if they attempted to express their heritage. When Pine Ridge residents speak about the impact of generational trauma on the living conditions of today, it's crucial to remember the history of how Pine Ridge came to be. There's obviously some very deep trauma in this area. People who are struggling really with addiction, but there's a guy, some people that are struggling, I'm sure, with meth and other things that are getting very close to us and very threatening. We've been a lot of different places in this country. Some of these conditions is unlike anything I think we've ever seen before. And the thing is, when you visit a place like this, is you never know what the answer is. I certainly think there are answers, but I think nothing is going to happen overnight. How do you change people's actions? And then when you look at the youth who are going to be taking over and you see what they're doing, it's like, oh, how did it not get worse? And what will it take for those kids to be engaged and excited and creative and using their juices for something worthwhile? Because man, the youth is worth so much. The youth is everything. The youth is our future. We wanted to learn more about the alcohol bootlegging, so we went to a remote part of the reservation and tapped in with some people that could tell us more. Here's what we learned. This place is, I think it almost looks worse than Pine Ridge. What's going on?
What up?
Can you tell us about you used to be in the game? What was it like?
I used to sell coke, and sell drugs too, and skips and stuff a little bit here and there, just to get you by, whatever, Usually down here, there's no jobs down here. A lot of people do it, almost probably every fucking house does it. But they're so sketched out and everything, because if you get caught down here with it and you have it on you, then putting yourself at risk to go 5 to 10,
5 to 10 years for that?
For alcohol.
Does that seem like too many years?
Drugs, yeah, that's very severe punishment. And you have to do over 80% when it's federal, because it's a federally recognized tribe.
People do this for basically profit. We're talking what, $100 to $200 a day? What do you think the average person selling skips makes in a day?
Anywhere from $10 to about $200 a day.
And all that at the risk of 5 to 10 years of prison.
So we found a bamboozled pipe.
Oh, messed with? Yeah?
What you do is just to have just half full of water in it, a little bit of rubbing alcohol, and then like a little bit of it will be vodka.
Does that still get somebody drunk?
This is the bamboozle. You can tell it's fake because once you hit it like that, as well as don't go up as well.
So do people get mad when they get fake stuff?
Sometimes they don't even know.
One time, I don't know what it was, but we bought a pint like that and we only drank one and it got us like drunk or whatever, but then our insides start shaking because it was mixed with something.
What do you think it was mixed with?
I don't know, probably hand sanitizer or something.
That can fuck somebody up.
Yeah, you could literally feel your liver shaking. Like
What's a hangover like on one of these pints?
like a real bad headache and probably your insides like shaking and stuff because it's like trying to process the amount of alcohol.
I spoke with 2 alcohol bootleggers to learn more about the business, why they do it, the impact on the community, and what they thought about it. Here's what they said. So fellas, we're talking about the business of bootlegging. How common is it on the res? Like if I wanted to find alcohol, if I wanted to go to a bootlegger, like how many people do I have to choose from, you think?
Depends on the housing, whatever housing you go to, each district. There's some people you can go to. If it's in a water bottle, you don't know what they might put in there or whatever, so it's best if you buy it store-bought. So
Do a lot of people cut it with shit?
they usually put Lysol or whatever in there. Then it makes it.
Wow. What happens when you drink Lysol?
Honestly, Lysol is gonna make you feel ugly, feel stomach sick. Then that's the point where you have to call the ambulance, and they take you in.
Is that where they pump your stomach?
Yeah.
What attracts people to the liquor when it makes them feel so bad?
Whenever they're usually hanging over, sick, or something like that, then they go back to it, so that way they can cure it instead of going to the hospital.
So that's why it's such a vicious cycle, because the only way to cure the hangover is to drink more. Let's learn about the lingo. So what's bamboozle mean?
Means it's laced or like either that like mixed with Lysol, either hand sanitizer or something like that.
What percentage of bottles you buy, pints you buy, they're also called skips, right?
Yeah. What percentage of skips
out there are late?
It's kind of between 50-50 sometimes too, you know. It depends on who you buy it from.
So like this res is very spread out. You can go some miles without seeing anything, and then you see like little pockets of housing. Does that mean there's a lot of people drunk driving to go back and forth when they get their liquor?
Most likely, yeah.
How common is it for someone to have a DUI around here?
It's probably about like 40-60%.
40 to 60%?
Yeah.
The first 2 are misdemeanor, right?
Yeah. Third one is automatic, yeah.
So we got a bottle of vodka here, Kharkov. How much can you buy this for?
$12.
And once you flip it, what can you make off?
You can make about like $35.
What was the most you guys have ever made in a night selling this stuff?
If you buy a box of that, that'll cost $75, then you can flip it for about almost $200.
Okay, and is that a big night?
Yeah.
Are there undercovers?
Yeah, there's undercovers on there, yeah.
How serious, like this much alcohol, what's the punishment for getting caught with this?
Usually this.
As you can tell by how quick we were to turn the lights off, I know there's some punishment that's with this, but what if we get caught with this, how bad is it?
That'll be like 3 days, at least.
3 days in jail?
Yeah.
Can people go to prison for this stuff?
It ain't that hard. If you're selling the meth or whatever around here, then you can go to prison. But
is it fair to say, because I've heard unemployment rates can be up to 85 to 90% around here. Is that where you guys are?
And they look young too. These are like young kids. They don't look grown. They don't look like they plus 20. They look young kids. And they just out here doing this because what else are they supposed to do? What else? What else is there for them to do? Literally. And it's like they mix it with, they said antifreeze, Lysol, hand sanitizer, rubbing alcohol, all types of stuff just to make it, just to stretch it. Like I've never heard anybody say they use that to stretch alcohol. And it's like they use like bad stuff where it's like, yo, bro, you could do half water, half alcohol, and it would still be good. They wouldn't be able to tell they were bamboozled. But at the end of the day, it's like half of these places don't have running water, so it's like now they're forced to spend more money to make more money, and then they're in a community that it's just a complete cycle of just it's just terrible. Like there's no other words you can really just say. It's just terrible. This is just terrible.
Does that sound like a crazy number to you guys? That's huge. This is a common way that if families are just trying to eat, pay the electric bill, this is what they do.
Yeah, that's what they sell. That's what bullying causes, because they're short on money and stuff like that. They choose to sell that.
So do you think alcohol should be legal on the res?
I mean, honestly, it's hard to say because there's too many people dying from cirrhosis.
That's the liver failure, the kidney failure. Obviously, making it illegal doesn't work. People still are getting it, and it's almost worse because instead of drinking maybe a light beer where you can have a few of them before you really start to feel it.
People around here, they don't like drinking beer because it doesn't get them drunk, so they turn to this hard liquor. They want that hard kick right away, so they choose just Karkov.
So if you could snap your fingers and you could just be sober without the pain of getting sober, if I could say, hey, you're sober 1 year and you feel like it, what would you do with that opportunity?
I'd rather sober myself up, get a job, get my GED.
What job would you think you want to do?
You want to be like a yard worker. Just go from yard to yard, help people out.
Hell yeah. Any idea on your end?
Try to get all my priorities back to, save up, high school, college or something.
Because there's free college, right?
Yeah.
But tell me about the process of flipping this into pints. How does that work?
So basically, one water bottle will equal up to this much.
Okay.
Then you can make about
Do you stretch it at all?
Yeah, sometimes you fill it up right there.
And how many pints can this make you?
About 3.5. When you hear that, you know it's store-bought.
If you get jail for doing this, do you feel like you deserve that, or do you feel like that's an unreasonable punishment?
I mean, honestly, it's like if your family is struggling, then if you need to, then if you need the money, you could flip this. For the price of 12, you could flip it for like $40 or something like that.
Well, fellas, I know you shared your stories that it was risky to do this.
It's a small little flip. It's a small little flip for a big risk, but like, it's like at the day when there's nothing to do, and you know what I mean. Your mom is unemployed, your dad's unemployed. You got little siblings. You got 5 different families living in your house. It's like, you know what I mean. That one little flip, that $12 you just spent to make that $40, that $50, that's dinner for the night. You know. That's dinner for the night. You do it tomorrow. That's dinner for the next night, and that's dinner for the next night, the next night, and the next night after that. And then you keep building up, and then now all of a sudden you're buying 2-3 cases a week, and then you're making $400, $500, $600, maybe a couple $1,000 a week because you're buying cases and you're doing this, and it like it's just terrible. It's just terrible, man.
And I appreciate learning about this, and I think this is important to educate people out there. So any final thoughts?
Just hope that everyone out there, if you guys are doing this, just know, just take it easy. Guys, if you're struggling, we understand. We're doing the same thing.
So what's the way out? What's the way forward, fellas?
Way forward is sobriety, getting the money up the right way.
Thank you, fellas. I wish you guys the best on your path, okay? Thank you guys for tuning in. A reminder to donate to Kyle in the skate park. The link is in the description. We'll see you guys next week.
Another great video by Tommy G, man. Tommy G is, and hey, what him and Brandy be saying? They be saying, what is it? It's F Main Street Media. Hey, man, F mainstream media, man. Okay, Tommy's hitting the boots with a foot to the ground with his boots, lacing his straps up, going into the areas, walking around these areas. He's not even going in the cars. He's actually hitting. I didn't even realize what this said. I really didn't realize what this said. He said, looking for connections to Diddy's inside circle. This is literally the craziest thing I've heard him say. Like, this is literally insane. Well, great video idea, but wow. But hey, another extraordinary video by Tommy, man. Hey, man, thank you for watching the video. If you like this video, man, like, comment, subscribe, and share a friend, share their girlfriend. Let's grow the community up. If you like this content, also stream on Kick. I'm going to put all my social down in the description down below. Sorry for my words, man. I appreciate y'all for watching the video, and let's check y'all out soon. Peace.
I put the new 4Gs on the G. I tap and tell them, let it bottom is underneath. That's how my homies started out the street. I keep 100 racks inside my jeans. I remember hitting the mall with my hometown.